up your hearts and receive the healing of the Almighty. Clean hands and a heart so pure. Unto Zion we go. Unto Zion we go. Unto Zion we go. Unto Zion we go.
Hello, brothers and sisters. It is such a beautiful day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. God and Goddess, thank you so much for all the blessings that you continue to bestow upon us. Thank you for the clean air and water and food that we get to enjoy. Thank you so much for the fellowship that we have and the people that are awakening to the truth of the Holy Megillah and all of the amazing spiritual insights that it has for us. Thank you for the ability to climb the golden ladder and to be forgiven and to be loved and comforted and all of those really great things. Thank you so much for that. In all of the times. Thank you, even when we have strayed into darkness, for still being there for us and for forgiving us and loving us even in our times of struggle. Help us to continue to climb the golden ladder, to struggle less, to make the best choices that will help bring us to a more heavenly paradise on earth. In the name of Elohim I pray, amen. Today on the Nasrian calendar, it is Heritage Day, and the might be here, it might be there, depending on where you're looking. Sorry if you're on the vertical, view. It doesn't do my slides very well. So cool. It's the right side here. We are on Heritage Day, and the Midtime Peace Contemplation is our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent. Send it to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. It is so important that we are mindful of the things that we are imparting to the future generations. I don't have children yet myself. I would love to be a mother in the future. However, this world is not really a safe place. So my focus is trying to make this world a better place in order to, make the nest safe so that we can have new babies. But yeah, even with like my niece and nephew and dealing with other people's children, I'm always trying to implement the new, parenting wisdom that I have learned through my own studies. I have been really focused on being a mom my whole life and really wanting that more than really anything. And so I've studied parenting a lot and different ways of raising children and all of that kind of stuff. And I can see how I'm reacting differently than I would have before in a lot of different ways. And yeah, I'm excited to pass on great new things for the future. My sister just texted me yesterday and said that they are getting ready to move, and I know that the kids are taking it a little bit hard because they are involved with sports. They live in a really nice neighborhood. They love their neighbor best friend. They have this woods in the backyard that they can kind of run through and have fun. So, yeah, it's really hard for kids. So I'm going to be sending them a message soon because they actually sent me some artwork recently and I really appreciate that. So anyways, today I just wanted to talk just a little bit about being peaceful in a violent world. And that is not only being peaceful by, not killing or punching people, but also with how we treat people and how the tone in which we speak and the energy that we have behind our words can either be loving and inviting and gentle, or they can be abrasive and harsh and violent, right? In the good book, the Holy Megillah, we read all about the Nazarenes continuously being persecuted for being the peacemakers in all the various states, right? We do the noontime peace contemplations in 7 different areas of our lives to continually remind ourselves and build upon that foundation of peace and bring more peace and better understanding, better connection in all of these different areas. And yeah, we're in a very violent world, and it all started when Adam and Eve started killing and eating animals, and then the animals started killing and eating themselves. And after humanity walked down this dark path, it wasn't very long before they started killing each other. Cannibalism was also a thing as well, so some groups would also eat each other as well. So being a peacemaker in the midst of all of that, especially when probably 9 out of 10, I'm not like, quoting a statistic, but 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10 people, right, is not vegan and or not of the fleshless diet, and there is violence in their food still, and there's violence in a lot of the different programming that we have as well. Look at the programming that patriots are often under, not just of America, but of all the different countries, right? Like this idea of fight, kill, and die for your country, and to take things from other countries, to dominate, to conquer, all of the different reasons that they have for that. And yeah, getting back to that peacefulness, trying to be peaceful amidst that is definitely a challenge, but that is what we are called here to do. For me personally, I definitely find the noontime peace contemplations very helpful because I'm constantly praying for peace. I also really love the teachings in the Holy Megillah about kindness and love, and the kind star of compassion that I have here that reminds me every day when I put it on to be compassionate and loving and kind. Remember those teachings that they learned in butterfly school. The Nasrian children would learn kindness on day one. The first precepts of kindness, the 5 precepts of kindness, they would start with the first one, obviously, being kind to all beings as you wish kindness done to yourself. And that includes animals and humans. It's definitely not easy, especially when so many times we're interacting again with people that are of a violent consciousness. And especially when we're online, not only are there paid trolls and bots and different things, but other people that I used to be there too. When you're in a conversation or maybe more or less an argument with somebody and you are just laughing at their words, um, getting it's like a demonic happiness trigger when you hit that laugh button at the person, and then that they're getting angry behind the screen, and these demons are working through both of you to bring this negative vibrations and make this downward spiral as big as possible so that you two walk away hating each other. Maybe in 5 days time that person is still ruminating on what you said or how you came at them sideways, right? And we've talked before about that forgiveness thing and how, if I'm holding on to what you did to me, there's a binding that is between us. If I say, I forgive you, that lets that go and allows you to be free, allows me to be free. But not all people do that, right? A lot of people hold grudges. And so we especially had to be careful because in that scenario that I was describing, online, you guys are going back and forth, laughing at each other, insulting, all this stuff. Is that ever going to be resolved? Probably not. It's not like you might run across each other again, but there's going to be a lot of loose ends that are just kind of, these connections of negativity that are just out there kind of dangling in a way. Another thing that has helped me with my dealings with other people, being conscious of my own karma, just like that situation. I don't want these ties to people that are negative, that they are sitting at home, like being resentful of their own lives, and then having all of this negative energy and all of their hatred and frustration of all of their whole life's existence coming at me, because some people are like that. Not I'm not saying I'm the victim or anything. I'm saying that they could do it to anybody. So yeah, the karmic consequences of us acting unpeaceful are really not worth it. And the last thing really is the teachings of Lord and Lady Christ that specifically say essentially not to argue with people. And if someone, is in the combative mood, just, smile at them and do whatever you can to disengage in a polite way, because you don't want to leave that in a negative thing. As soon as they start going into a negative spiral, then try to fix that and then get out of the conversation as quickly as possible and leave it on good terms, because then at least it's semi-neutral ground rather than this downward spiral that you keep going back and forth, and then the animosity and the anger and the negativity just grows between you. At least if it's on neutral ground, maybe a different gardener can come along and tend to that seed that you planted and help it to actually grow in a way that maybe you weren't able to reach that person. But the more that I am being loving and kind, or at least trying to be, it definitely feels easier to connect with people. And when they come at me sideways, I'm just immediately like, I hope you have a great day. I'm going to disengage now because it's not worth it. You can have the last word if you need to. This whole idea of giving the nod to love is, I know I'm right. Okay, not every situation, but let's say this in this situation, it's like, I know I'm right, but love is the ultimate winner. And so I'm going to choose love instead of being right, which I'm still not wrong, right? Because love wins in the end. You can't ever be wrong when you choose love. So let's say factually you are correct in whatever conversation you're having. And you just say, you know what? Let's just disengage, and you just turn the conversation to something loving, and don't worry about being right. Just let them have whatever they need to make sure that that conversation, not saying to bend over backwards or to tell them that they're right or any of that, but to not go in with this attitude of, I have to be right and I'm going to beat you over the head with the thing that I'm right with until you accept it. It's like, they're going to like end up going away with like a whimpering puppy, and they're not going to come back for like more information, right? It's just not a healthy way to go. Anyways, I'm going to jump off of here and go enjoy my lovely day. Look at this weather. It's so nice. Actually, I'll take you right over here for a second, because they finally, well, it's not completely finished, as you can see, but they finally finished the pavilion floor here, and they're setting up for something rather large type event over here. I was looking online and couldn't really find any information, but that swimming pool looks awfully tempting to go jump into. All right, Mount Shasta. Well, I am still working on the slides for the next chapter in the Holy Megillah. It is a chapter where Christ describes basically his diet and different things about that, and it's a bit of a middle chunk of a chapter. So I'm going to continue working on that, but on Saturday I'm going to be heading up to Florence. So I'm not 100% sure on what my schedule is going to look like in the next few days, but tomorrow at least I will be here for the noontime peace contemplation and to let you know any further details. I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the Goddess bless you.